What's up guys, welcome again to another motherboard unboxing and review. Now I know that Intel has released their new 4th generation Haswell CPUs and chipset, but today we'll be looking at an older Ivy Bridge offering from Gigabyte. It is the Z77X-D3H. Glancing over the front of the box, as you would expect from this mid-range offering from Gigabyte, is their ultra durable 4 technology, which encompasses several things. Firstly, Gigabyte uses a new glass fabric PCB with additional copper layers for durability and protection against humidity. This does not mean you can dunk the motherboard in water, and I would strongly advise against this. Secondly, the entire board uses high quality Japanese solid capacitors. Thirdly, the PWMs on the board which provide power to the CPU is entirely digital and manufactured by International Rectifier, known for their high electrostatic and temperature resistance. Finally, Gigabyte's dual UEFI BIOS means that you always have a backup in case you corrupt your BIOS during flashing or have problems with overclocking. Quickly going along the bottom, being a Z77 board, of course we have support for unlocked K-series Ivy Bridge CPUs, PCI Express Gen 3, Virtue MVP, and support for two-way NVIDIA SLi, and although not shown here, AMD Crossfire as well. And finally, a few stickers showing the awards that Gigabyte has won from Atomic, Tom's Hardware, PC Authority, etc, etc. Looking around to the back, Gigabyte goes into more detail about their 3D power engine, which provides all digital power to the CPU, integrated graphics, DDR3 memory, and VTT. Their turbo voltage response claims to provide quicker adjustments in response to load, coupled with load line calibration that helps keep overclocking stable under load. An interesting feature found on this model is the onboard Sata connector, which can be used with a small SSD along with Intel Smart Response to provide SSD caching for your much slower mechanical hard drives. And that pretty much covers the outside, so let's get on to the unboxing, shall we? Inside the box we get our driver's DVD, a comprehensive user's manual, some warranty information, and Gigabyte's world record overclock, although not with this board, with a 3770K to over 7 GHz. Obviously I'm not going to get that much on my CPU, but we'll see how far we can push it. What else? A multilingual installation guide, a SLi connector. It's nice to see that we get 4 SATA 3 cables in black, of course, an IO shield, and finally a nice shiny Gigabyte sticker, because we all know that this makes things go faster. Okay, now onto the board itself. Thankfully, Gigabyte has stopped with their crazy blue PCBs and slots, and opted for a much nicer black layout with blue heatsink highlights. I think this looks much better and is more in line with the other ASRock and Asus boards that I have looked at. Up here we have the standard 1155 socket compatible with Sandy Bridge and Ivy Bridge CPUs. The Z77 chipset of course allows overclocking of Intel's unlocked K-series processors. Gigabyte has put one heatsink around the CPU socket area here to cover the MOSFETs, but it is strange that they have chosen to leave these VRMs exposed with no cooling. Hiding up here also is the 8-pin EPS connector for supplying power to the CPU. Over to the right we get our 4 DDR3 slots rated up to 2800 MHz and supporting up to 32 gigs of RAM, which is plenty by today's standards. Next to these we have the 24-pin ATX connector and the internal USB 3 header. Right in the middle of the board we have the SATA connector I mentioned earlier. However, if you choose to use this connector, the SATA 2 port number 5 will be unavailable. It's nice to see Gigabyte using right-angled SATA connectors in the bottom corner. I find this really helps in cable managing, especially if you have a lot of drives. We have a total of 4 SATA 3 ports. Here the 2 white ones are running off the Z77 chipset, and the 2 grey ones down below are provided from an onboard Marvel chipset. In between we have an additional 4 SATA 2 3 gigabit per second ports, so there's plenty of connectivity here. we get a total of 4 fan connectors here, 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 and one for the CPU cooler. Moving along the bottom, we get the standard front panel header, 2 USB 2 headers, a serial header, a TPM header, and the HD audio header all the way in the corner here. Over in the PCI slot area, we get one PCI Express 16 length slot running at 4 times, and one standard PCI slot. Moving up, we get 3 PCI Express 1-time slots, and the 2 16 length slots which provide support for both Crossfire and SLi. If you only have one card, be sure to use this top slot, as it runs at the full PCI Express 3.0 16 times speed. However, if you're going for a dual card configuration, then this will drop to 8 times for both slots. Finally, having a look at the rear I/O now. Up here we have 2 USB 2 ports. Underneath, one PS2 port for mouse and keyboard. VGA, DVI, HDMI for the integrated graphics. Plenty of USB 3 ports here with a total of 6 available. Atheros Gigabit LAN, and the onboard VIA HD audio, which supports 7.1 and optical out. So that sums up my overview on the Gigabyte Z77X-D3H. Gigabyte has done a fantastic job once again, providing plenty of connectivity with 4 SATA 3 ports and 6 USB 3 ports on the rear. I can expect to see excellent performance in dual card setups, with both PCI Express slots running in 8 times mode. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments section below, and I'll try to help you out where I can. Thank you again for watching, and be sure to check back soon for more unboxings and reviews.